These are the fog lifters from audio cable uppers, isolate RF. I just don't like it. My kids are. You need not fear, because this is, and I quote from the box, the next best to levitation for preserving your low-level signal. Yeah, and actually these are far more reasonably priced.
I don't even know how to start. I would have said I thought that was like 50 bucks, even at stupid audiophile pricing. I don't know, $100.
95.
I've never been less happy to be right.
They're nice.
They definitely keep your cable off the floor.
Well, this kit actually has a chance of actually doing it.
Yeah, that one like doesn't have enough tension on it, so it doesn't actually support the cable, but these are like...
It's like a kid's toy.
We'll move on. Okay, so now
the cable's still touching the damn floor.
Oh no, well...
We have two products and we still haven't alleviated the situation.
Okay, but we didn't do a before test.
We haven't done any tests.
Oh yeah, do you want us to do it before?
Yeah, the crossover's a little off.
Yeah, the crossover's not
Yeah,
great.
we should probably fix it.
I got it.
Okay,
Okay, all right.
that's it. Quick, get the cables lifted.
Okay, cable's lifted. Gotta do the fastest cable lifted. A/B test.
Pull against me.
A/B test. Let's go. Let's go. Come on, boys.
Oh, we've got power on.
Dan, move. You're in the sound field.
You remember what it sounds like, boys? Or what we should expect is a little bit more air and less noise flow.
Oh, I think.
It's too much air now.
That's okay. We have a lot more fixes to apply. You see, we solved the cable problem being on the ground. But we haven't solved our source problem. Computers don't need to make music.
Oh, okay.
It looks pretty cool actually. It's heavy. It could be the heavy metal containers. That's
Shady.
Ooh.
Does it just have like a brick in it?
It's a macro quantum.
Oh, now I get it.
What's a macro quantum? I expected like a headphone jack.
So basically, here's the thing about these. It was made to transfer files.
I'm not saying anything.
The system is going to introduce a lot of it is a thing that can actually...
There's no output on this. It just plugs in.
Yeah, you just plug it into one USB and it fixes the other ones. It's nice because it takes up a whole port.
It'll take up 2 ports if you don't put it on the extension.
It uses a special detection circuit to detect noise and sends a compensatory corrective signal to noise cancel the noise.
So the solution to noise is more noise.
That is how noise cancels.
I know.
Car mufflers do the same thing. Shoot the sound back out.
Okay, I'm gonna plug in, and I want you guys to tell me when you think I've plugged it in.
I'm waiting for the Windows USB connected sound.
Well, it probably doesn't have anything in it.
Did you guys hear it?
No.
Are you sure? Because it's blinking. It is working.
Wow, there is something. How much does this one cost?
How much is it?
It has a blinking light in it.
Yeah. How much LED cost? 100.
Oh no!
$263. Can I destroy it? Yeah. Oh, you want to open it up?
No, we have to try all our things first.
We didn't even get to try it.
We'll open it after Dan.
We also have another one called a jitterbug.
That's a fun name, so I like it already.
Wow, Stereophile recommended. Editor's Choice Award from some idiot.
I've heard really good things about the Dragonfly.
The Dragonfly is actually really good.
Yeah, that's little USB amp, yeah.
Okay, now hold on just a second. This seems like it might actually be a thing. Then it went full, completely off the rocker bull. For an additional improvement in audio performance, you can use a second jitterbug in another unoccupied USB port that is in parallel to the first. That is not what parallel means.
Well, I mean, aren't they technically all serial?
Not the point. Look at this diagram. Here's how you use one. Here's how you use one, and also give them more of your money.
That's something you'll notice in a lot of these products, is that in the manual they will say, for better performance, buy another. So jitter is a real thing. Back before sound cards and sound chips. So it kind of
Like the sample rate wasn't clocked perfectly to the
yeah, and that was more a matter of the fact that your CPU had to keep up on on modern hardware, that basically doesn't exist.
Audio is baby stuff now.
Yeah.
So most of the recording studios I've recorded in, they're still using a Mac from 2006.
All right, well, want to plug it in parallel with the other one?
Oh, you don't want to do the pass-through?
No, yeah, this one can have the pass-through, the other one can run in parallel.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Still like the song. Wait, Adam. How much was it?
Only $70.
Cheapest one yet?
Is there a deal for two?
No. We've gotten our cable off the ground. We've gotten our signal from the computer. Here's the issue. From the wall, from the city of Surrey.
Change your filter. It'll do it.
Well, that's what we're about to do.
Oh, wow. Oh, goody.
I was told we can't actually do that because of work safety.
Significantly greater metal mass and grip.
Metal mass. More metal.
Beryllium copper base metal for superior springs and shape. And titanium silver Also, I know a thing or two about what silver looks like. This is
Not allowed to eat it. Not allowed to.
If there was no audiophile nonsense marketing attached to it, I'm actually super into this product. Just a North American outlet that freaking doesn't just immediately fall out.
Oh, that's chewy.
Yeah, it's good.
That's chewy.
I would easily pay like $15 or something like this.
Would you easily pay 50 times the amount of a normal wall outlet?
Sorry, how much is it?
$200. I'm about to show you two pictures.
Yes.
This is an oscilloscope
I'm ready
showing.
for the meme.
This is an
Come on,
oscilloscope
Pam.
showing the power from the wall.
Get in here, Pam.
Right. So this is AC that's going up and down. So that's the first picture.
Yep.
That's the second.
Can you
picture.
show the second one now?
This is the second.
No, but I
you
didn't.
meant the second first one.
Oh,
No,
so
no, stop showing the same one.
This is the.
No. But you see,
It's very hard with a scrupula.
What are you doing?
don't you have tools in this building? Don't you sell screwdrivers? It's eStore.com.
I don't know, this is so bad.
They look so.
Very shiny.
Yeah, they're too shiny. It's possible there is some silver in here of some sort. I'm not going to just come out and say fraud, false advertising, but as far as I can tell, I don't see it.
We're gonna power train because we can't put that into the wall. So I bought the next best thing, which is the Q-Vibe Nordos. And
Oh no, these guys again, no!
I know it's called a Q-Vibe, and it looks like it's the size of a travel size.
Okay, all right. Okay, stop.
Oh, I get it.
Shut up, it doesn't even have a pass-through.
Yeah, it just goes in.
You just plug it in and it's magic.
Well, it's important because it doesn't affect either source impedance or peak current available from the power line.
How much you want to bet that inside there is just an AC/DC power supply?
Oh, I like working for you.
We didn't even get to try it.
Hey, that's carbon. Hey, it is actually.
Oh.
I think because actually.
That sounded like carbon fiber. Finish on it too.
This feels good. You want to have a try?
Yeah,
It just
fine.
feels good to chew into.
Yeah, man.
I like it.
That is really carbon
You're not
fiber.
supposed to break that stuff and breathe it.
That's why.
Yeah.
That's why I kind of had it.
Dan got it off. Okay, what are we looking at, Dan?
For a giant resistor and a tiny capacitor, and then
This son of IC that they did it! They did it! They sanded the markings off the IC in it so that we can't tell that it's nothing.
an LED driver.
It takes 120 volt, converts it to 5 volt, and then shoots it out into this LED.
It enhances the musical performance and picture quality of any AV system at an incredibly affordable price. $405. So Nordos literally is scamming people out of so much money. What do you think the total cost of that is?
Is that like $3 maybe?
Don't worry. XLR caps from Telos. We've only 3 brands up here in this video so far. AudioQuest, Nordos, and Telos. Telos is like, they are the god ones. They have a 30,000 tolerance.
I wanted to make
One pin.
Yeah, so just plug the ground.
What? Why?
So the sound won't leak.
So it sounds like plumbing, like water. It's like it drips out and then so you don't want it to drip out. Put this in.
I would have had to have buy like 400.
They're made of copper for the best effective material to isolate EMI and RF resolution. The best 24-karat gold-plated techniques.
The best.
Yeah, there's pure Teflon inside, which is also the best material for isolation. Okay, but you guys, this is important, and I didn't do this, and I'm really sorry. There is a burn-in time on these.
You.
What?
You.
It's like having a burn-in time on your house tap.
Is this supposed to be Teflon? Because I don't see anything else that could possibly be Teflon.
Yeah, I think that's the Teflon part.
It's
But
like a little
just
dog
a little,
tag.
like silicone.
Well, have you ever had pure Teflon?
I'm full of microplastics.
This is not made of copper.
Oh, is that silver in there?
It shouldn't surprise me that someone who's willing to lie about the function of the product would lie about the composition of the product, but I don't think I've seen anything this brazen yet. How much are these again?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they're $82 for 2.
What do they think this is? I had this realization when I was shopping for rugs for my place with Yvonne, and they had these rugs that were $80,000. And I was sitting here going, I cannot tell the difference between these ones and the ones that Bianca's liquidation outlet can serve. Yvonne and I were discussing it afterward, and then I went, we've used designers for things like set construction before, and when they quote you a percentage of the total cost of the project. And so it's in their interest to take bulk like this, hide it as little tiny, plausible enough sounding line items on a $400,000 installation so that they can collect their $8 for their 10% commission. And the people who are paying for it didn't know or care the difference. So in a way, this is a tax on the rich for the working South. And it looks good. Boom. Got him.
We can fix up our cheap-ass ports with a special coating. Clean It is a high-quality electrical contact enhancer that has been specifically formulated to clean condition connections between hi-fi and home cinema equipment. In an ideal world, both the male and female ports of all connection points would be manufactured to match exactly, but in reality, this is never the case. Clean It removes all contaminants besides the profile.
That's 100%.
This should be illegal because it does give you the appropriate warnings. Keep out of reach of children, do not swallow, in case of contact with eyes, etc. Highly flammable. But what it doesn't say is what the it is, and you can't ship chemicals like that. Not even here on the container.
I brought this on the plane.
Dirty sockets and connectors. In fairness, this will clean a dirty thing.
Yeah. But you can get liters of this for however much they're charging.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Don't worry, actually, this is the cheapest thing we bought.
Okay.
$40.
Yeah! 40 bucks Canadian. This next product is a remaster.
So it's for remastering?
I've done remastering.
I get
It takes
it.
a long time.
That's actually pretty funny. I'll pay just for the joke.
I also like how the company's name, Fuck You.
Vibrational energy is converted to electric energy, and finally to heat energy, enabling efficient absorption. There are no rubber or heavy metal
But CDs are ones and zeros.
All of this fixes digital stuff.
These are just vinyl stickers. These are vinyl stickers. I promise you, these are just made of vinyl.
Made in Japan.
Shall we listen? It's 38 Canadian dollars, so about $28. So actually not that bad.
So about $2 each. Yeah.
How are my rubber overtones? Is there any more air in my voice?
Wow, you sound amazing. The final part of the chain that we need to correct is us.
New ears.
Actually, these are from Flare. These are called Ear HDs, and what they're designed to do is make stuff sound better.
Yours is in-ear device for higher sound quality, and mine is revolutionary sound focusing device. So this is so I only hear things in front of me, and this is so that he can hear everything. Okay, so theoretically, I should be able to better focus on that.
I'm doing it.
I've done it.
I can't hear you because you're over there, but it's only here in front of me.
No, you're mistaken. Your one is
Huh?
zero.
Whoa?
Yeah, that's not what yours does.
My name is.
You can hear everything better.
No, well, actually, everything's slightly worse because I've got this plastic rubbish in my hands.
I can hear you talking. You're talking kind of quiet.
Okay, I'm gonna put the same volume.
Yeah, I can.
But do I
can
sound,
hear you now? Are you on a cell phone?
Do I sound
Are you checking if I can hear you now?
Do I sound behind you?
Everything, regardless of whether it's behind me or in front of me, sounds like.
It sounded so much better when I was talking about it.
Yeah. See, here's the thing. Your ears use the entire shape of your ears to give you positionality. So all you're really doing is taking all the sound that would normally come into your ear through this giant hole here, and you're putting it through this little tiny hole, and then you're blocking the work that your ear is doing, that the lobe is doing, making it so you can't tell where sound is coming from. It all sounds like ass. But wait. What if I could hear behind me?
These ones are easy to A/B test.
Wow, that's so much better. They're like bass enhancers.
Yeah, it's like wearing a small shoe all day, so you can look forward to taking them off. So you wear these all day, take them out and go, oh. They're just earplugs.
Okay, so take them out, take them out.
Ow! That's the look of a satisfied customer.
Please tell me they weren't very expensive.
Oh, they're not that bad. These are designed to trick the general public. They were about $30 and $50 or so. 30 for the 360s, 50 for the 90s. This is the final thing. I just want to read you a section from a review. The combined effect of the first Revive RR777 and the second RR777 was too much for me. It gave me a moderate case of
Wow, look at that painted silver. Oh wow, it's so light you gotta hold it down.
So Schumann resonance is an electromagnetic phenomenon that's produced from light. The resonance comes from the reflection of 7.68 Hz waves of radiation bouncing between the Earth's surface and the ionosphere, and it has sometimes been referred to as the heartbeat of the Earth.
Do you have a paper to store?
Okay, so this is a legitimate thing, and it's part of the reason why like Northern Lights happen.
Okay, I'm on board.
What this does is it produces that frequency.
Oh no.
All you need to do is place this in your room, and the Schumann resonance pulses will improve the quality of your audio, and probably even how you feel.
Please don't dismantle it yourself.
Give me the screwdriver! Ow!
I think before we open it, we should take a listen. Behold.
Yeah.
Do you feel it?
Turn it off.
Okay, so my eyes are closed. Okay, so turn it off at some point, and we'll let you know if we can tell. Now. All right, Dan, you want to take it apart?
It's incredible. I think we just need 2 of them, and then I will get a severe case of vertigo.
Yeah. Ooh. Oh, look at that nice looking. That looks cool.
Hey, they're just plug-in connectors. That's really nice for service. I actually like that.
This is the cheapest PCB that I think I've seen on modern devices.
Is that just one light?
It's one-sided.
Yeah, one-sided.
These are just labeled connectors.
No, the one with the 3 pins.
Something to be known. So the Schumann resonance is a classic alternative medicine healing kind of thing, where it's like, oh, you play it in your room and it'll make you feel better. But this is a unique application of trying to rip off not sick people, but idiots. Sorry, audio files.
How much is it?
Don't look. Don't look.
I already saw it.
Yes, and do you want to know know the name of the man who sold this to you from Grooveworks?
Adam, can I hook this up to the oscilloscope and see what this is?
Sure. I also want to go through the amount of stuff we couldn't buy because of the budget. This is what I'm so sad about. We didn't get our quantum stickers in time. They're on the way. What? Soundstage clarity and imaging is indescribable. Peter, I can't believe what I'm hearing. Peter, I can't believe what I'm hearing. We spent all that money on those cable lifts, but what we could have done is spend them on something to get them organized.
Yeah.
Stick it to this.
Oh, yeah. Oh, wow. Oh, wow.
That's why I wanted you to. Whoa!
Okay, so it's going between like 6, 1.5 hertz. I think it's a.
Maybe it was when you grabbed it. It seems like.
No, I'm moving the pot.
Yeah, okay.
2, 3, 4,
There you go.
4.5.
All right.
So it's doing something.
Just like I'm doing something. Telling you about our sponsor.
War Thunder! If you're looking for a comprehensive vehicle combat game, try out War Thunder. It's free to play on PC, PS4, PS5, Xbox One, and Series X. With over 2,000 vehicles, including tanks, planes, helicopters, and ships, there's something for everyone to play. Vehicles are modeled down to individual components, offering an immersive combat experience. There are 100 years worth of historically accurate vehicles, ranging from the 1920s to present day. Whether you like your games fast-paced and action-focused or tactical and realistic, War Thunder offers intense PvP battles. Rather than a traditional hit point system, War Thunder uses the damage X-ray system, showing actual damage on the vehicles. The focus on visible damage adds a layer of immersion you don't often get from free-to-play games. And don't worry about extra peripherals. You can fly any aircraft with a keyboard and mouse. Not recommended in real life, but here it's fun. So click the link below and start playing War Thunder for free with some premium vehicles and boosts.
If you guys enjoyed this video, I would tell you what video of ours to check out, but we've got a guest here for crying out loud. Go check out DankPod's.
You know how we got the better audio quality on this? Mistake connection. Human resonance.
What is up, everyone, and welcome to the WAN Show! We've got a great topic for you guys today. That's right, one great topic. It's happened. Sony has patented the automatic difficulty curve. Wow. That, and somebody made the build corner out of Lego. There.
Wow.
I went out of my way, Luke. I went out of my way so hard to leave your topics for you. You couldn't possibly have chosen either of those.
No, I didn't. Yeah, I thought you were going to go for it. But anyway, ding dong, the witch is dead. Bobby Kotick is out, and I am a happy boy. And we'll talk about that later. Also, Google gives everybody kind of at least like $2, maybe more.
What?
Yeah. Yeah.
The show is brought to you by Thorum, maximum settings, and Green Man Gaming. All right, why don't we jump into the headline topic today, which is, of course, that Apple may be investigated over beeper. I'm gonna try so hard.
We can do it. I don't mind waiting.
A consulting
this
firm
long.
used AI to reduce layoffs.
We can do that one too.
Sure.
Yep.
The Last of Us multiplayer game has been canceled.
Yep. They got to remaster it again.
It got just as canceled as me.
It's good for... What, so they're still making it?
Well, no, I'm coming back. It's the different kind of cancel. Eventually. All right, let's do it. Ding Dong the Witch is dead. Bobby Kotick,
Yes.
go.
Bobby Kotick will be leaving Activision December 29th after 32 years, unfortunately, entirely voluntarily. 20 of those years have been as CEO. Kotick oversaw the creation of many of the company's most beloved IPs, including Call of Duty and Guitar Hero.
Does anyone actually beloved Call of Duty? Guitar Hero, yes, but as far as I can tell, the only people who hate COD as much as COD haters are COD lovers.
Yeah, it is one of those communities, I do believe. He was also allegedly in a recently settled lawsuit to have knowingly created and for years ignored a hostile workplace culture, which has included multiple information. Also, including allegedly things like, I'm going to jump to this screen. Where is it?
I think we need to do like a trigger warning here if you're going to talk about what I think you're going to talk about.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was going to be somewhat
It's now
indirect,
done.
but yeah, there's that. We don't necessarily 100% know what this means, but he was in Epstein's Black Book. We'll probably learn, I think, in January?
Yeah. I heard the Black Book is going to be becoming a white book with black letters on it.
Yeah. So we'll know, like, what that actually means, because, just being in the book doesn't necessarily mean anything.
I don't know. I think the only thing that's happening is they're publishing the flight logs to the island, right?
Okay, well, that would be, that's a pretty big
It would be
tell.
a solid indicator.
That's a pretty big one, I think. Yeah. Also...
Are you in the flight logs? Because I'd like to get a heads up.
No, we're good.
If I'm going to find out that, I'm going to be under fire because my longtime collaborator was in the flight logs to Epstein's Island, I would really like to know about it right now.
I like dangerous vacations, but not where I'm in danger. So I did not go to the island.
Cool.
There's also allegedly he has hid multiple.
Because I've had enough, Luke. I've had enough surprises. Dan, were you on that island?
We might have to talk after the show.
Dang it, Dan!
How could you do this to me? This is going in your employee review. Anyways, there's multiple accounts of him hiding things that he knew were going on at the company, including, I'm not going to go into details of things, but including pretty much the worst things you could imagine when it comes to things like sexual harassment and sexual misconduct at a company that should definitely have none of that. There's also the time that he called his assistant and left a voicemail threatening to kill her and then settled the legal agreement for it. So that's another allegedly. But just in general, I'm very happy he's gone. So that's great. Microsoft has not appointed a direct replacement for Kotick.
Well, hold on. Here's my question, though. Before we move on from that.
Yeah.
I mean, what is left of the company that you love?
Oh, nothing.
At this point.
Nothing at all.
Like, is there really anything to celebrate? Like, okay, this is kind of like,
yeah, honestly,
it's like the end of the Dark Crystal, okay? So the Skeksis, like, I don't know, they eventually die or some shit because they don't have life force to draw on, or, whatever ultimately happens to a Skeksis. But, like, the world is ruined.
Yeah.
Everything is,
this
horrible.
is honestly, I'm happy he's gone, but in a way, this is actually a victory lap for him.
Yeah, because he waited it out.
Yeah.
He had a long, prosperous career in the gaming industry.
Insane thing that he did that would have, like, just destroyed other people.
He was made of rubber.
He just bounced it right off. Didn't care. Didn't even bother him, really.
Well, I mean...
Stock price go boom.
Yeah.
Did it take a hit here or there? Yep, and then it went right back up.
We don't know for sure it didn't bother him at all.
The boy makes money.
That is conjecture. I'm not saying that...
Bobby Bills.
I'm not saying I disagree with your speculation, but neither of us know him personally. I haven't been to his island. Have you been to his island?
No, he probably has one. He might have a few.
Okay, you can't say things like he probably has an island in the context of us talking about Epstein's island. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying that we can't say that.
Yeah, all right.
That's his opinion.
Allegedly, he doesn't have an island.
No, okay, no, you can't.
I told you that the stuff was serious. Whole thing cool with external water system. If there were
Oh, man.
Oh, boy.
Cool.
How's it going, Bobby?
Look, we're... Just don't get us in legal trouble, okay?
Yeah.
Okay, we're not in any legal trouble, okay?
It's been 7 minutes.
Microsoft is not appointed.
Did they hear you, Dan? Were you muted?
No, I think I got muted for that.
Okay. Microsoft Microsoft has not appointed a direct replacement for Kotick. Instead, Activision's existing leadership will be placed under Microsoft's Game Content and Studios president, Matt Booty. Discussion question: what is Bobby Kotick's legacy? What would you like to see out of Activision now that he's gone? Bobby Kotick's legacy.
I'd like to see Blizzard out of Activision now that he's gone, because I never really gave two shits about anything Activision ever did. It's never happening. Like, Diablo is a stupid, like, gacha game now.
Well, his whole thing was that he didn't want to invest in anything that couldn't be, I believe his terminology was annualized. He didn't want to invest in anything that couldn't have a release every year. Something big for people to purchase every year.
The EA strategy.
Yeah, that was his big push. His legacy for the finance bros is going to be line go up. His legacy for the gamers is going to be quality go down. I think that's
Okay, so you can talk about quality go down, but like we have to have this conversation. Why do the gamers keep buying it if the quality go down? Is the quality okay? This is a tough one. Is the quality bad if people willingly part with their money to have the product more than ever?
I think it's.
What does quality mean?
I think it's like addiction. I think the things that are going up.
So you're saying it's quality crack cocaine, quality methamphetamine.
No.
So it's quality.
Wait.
You just don't like the product they make.
I think things like gameplay.
Because if you tried it.
I'm not getting past this one. I'm stuck here, boys.
Slop Cannon asked, well, is there bad cocaine, Linus? I don't know.
Isn't that where the whole I don't understand things about drugs, but
No, crack is the low quality cocaine. It's my understanding, but this is all based on me reading on Wikipedia. I actually know nothing about drugs.
I think that's right, though.
Breaking Back Division. What even is this show anymore?
Oh man, that's great. But yeah, I don't know. I'm just happy he's gone because it feels like now maybe, possibly, there's a chance. Because I think there was effectively no real chance.
Yeah, but here's the thing: how is there a chance? Because this is Bobby's team. This is a culture that, for better or for worse, he oversaw. This is
yeah, I know. Like a lot of the team that was good being gone is because he had this philosophy of like Blizzard games and Activision games. There are a lot of like obsession games for people. So he was like, people are going to grow up wanting to be developers or writers or game designers or level designers or whatever so that they can work on these games. So we'll just pay them trash and massively overwork them, and we'll just always have employees because everyone loves our games. And that was actually a thing that they actually did.
That's such a quiet, out loud moment.
Yeah, like
just,
oh man. There's
like,
tons of reports of people working at Blizzard and then working at other game development studios in the same area, making similar games and being like, wow, this is a wildly different experience. I get paid way more, work way less. There's a bigger focus on quality.
Like this is a whole thing. Like I was blown away when I discovered what the margins are like in the model plane industry. Like to run a hobby shop. I was just this was back when I was working at NCIX, and I picked up some transmitter and like an inexpensive plane because I was like, oh, this seems pretty cool. And
sure.
Just like I wanted to try it, right? And I was chatting with them because I'm curious. I'm a curious person, and I walked into their store, and kind of like with Keith's tech shop, there was a lot of dead stock. A lot of like there were obvious challenges that I was looking at in this hobby shop. It was in like Coquitlam or something, just like a random like mom and pop style shop.
Yeah.
And
I've always noticed those types of shops have insane amount of stuff.
Yeah, and I was like chatting with the guy about it, and as someone who has worked in retail, I have a pretty good understanding of that. Just because something is $600 doesn't necessarily mean that you are being ripped off. It could mean that the shopkeep got ripped off at some point. Anyone could be doing the ripping off, or in fact, there could be no ripping off being done, and it's actually just a really expensive product to develop. You can't make any assumptions. And so I was just chatting about it, and I was blown away by how little margin there was in it. And the guy's basically like, yeah, well, the problem is that this is an industry where the only way to survive is not if you're a more successful businessman than your neighbor, but if you are more passionate and more willing to do it for nothing out of the sheer joy of it, because someone else will. And I was just like, but it's almost like it as far as I can tell, now there's a lot of problems since then. That was a long time ago. And since then, there's been a massive amount of consolidation in that industry. Like, as far as I can tell, between Horizon Hobby, hold on. I don't wanna say the wrong companies, but Model Erica, blah 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 blah. Yeah, I think it's Horizon. Who owns it? It's been a long time. Yeah, Horizon Hobby is one of the big ones for sure. Between Horizon Hobby and I think there's like one other one or something like that, they basically consolidated absolutely everyone. They own absolutely everything, and they have all the power. Hobby Lobby. People are saying Hobby Lobby is the other big one.
Don't they also like buy like historical relics and hoard them? I know
Hobby
this.
Lobby?
Yeah, Hobby Lobby historical artifacts.
Okay, that I don't
Hobby
know.
Lobby smuggling scandal. The Hobby Lobby smuggling scandal started in 2009 when representatives of Hobby Lobby chain or craft stores received a large number of clay bullae and tablets originating in the ancient Near East. The artifacts were intended for the Museum of the Bible, funded by the evangelical Christian Green family, which owns the Oklahoma-based chain, International Staff, blah, 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 blah. Yeah.
Okay.
This is like a thing. Anyways, that's a fun rabbit hole people can go down. We don't need to figure that out right now. Hobby Lobby. Yeah, own all the things.
Okay, cool. Anywho, yeah. Yeah, okay. Traxxas is still doing their own thing, as far as I can tell. I wonder if that's a matter of time. Anyway, my point was, back then, before as much consolidation had occurred, I had this sort of realization that I was never going to be able to make money doing something that I was passionate about, because there would always be someone who was willing to do it for nothing.
Oh yeah.
And then I figured it out anyway, which is great. I get to do this job, and you know, this was pre the sort of YouTube influencer boom. And these days, what's cool is you don't have to work in the traditional supply chain with the traditional pressures, right? There is no mega corporation that's going to come in and consolidate and then, you know, force your margins down to absolutely nothing and then just dominate you with their e-tail presence or whatever else, right? Like you can just talk about these things, and then you can take sponsorships from those consolidators and mourn what was lost in small community shops. But hey, at least you have your online community now.
Yeah.
You know, Luke, it's something.
It's the way of the world.
It's something.
There's only so much stuff you can fight.
I didn't make the rules.
Something that took me a long time to accept.
Yeah, anyway,
you pick your battles, but
I forget how I got on this topic, but
Bobby
Kotick.
Kotick.
Yeah, so it's one of those things where, what the point I was trying to make is those dynamics existed in industries where it's competitive, and especially when it's niche, right? There's an incentive to drive margins down, and the computer industry has seen this a lot. Like, back when I got into the industry, there were countless little computer shops along Bridgeport Road in Richmond. They are basically all gone, not because a mega corporation, you know, consolidated and whatever. Amazon moving into Canada, Newegg moving into Canada, that came way later, and I'm not even convinced that Newegg is that
successful in the country. I think Amazon is. Newegg, I doubt it's to the same degree. That was just because they were all at each other's throats. They would kill each other for a nickel of margin on a hard drive. And it was because you just had these people who were super passionate about computers and building computers and electronics and all this stuff. And I guess the point I'm trying to make is that in some industries where people are excited and passionate, there's always going to be that dynamic, but it takes a certain type of f***ing hole to exploit it, to go, oh, this is good, and min-max it.
Yeah, his exact terms was that they need annualizable IPs that are exploitable. Yeah, so when I talk about line goes up, this has been talked about by like a billion people, but I'm going to bring it up anyways. Where I have my mouse here, 2003, is when Bobby took over as CEO, I think. It said 20 years ago. You know, that should be right. You can see how the line was pretty flat before that. Bobby takes over, line starts going up. Line goes up, line goes up, line goes up, line goes up. Big hit, line goes right back up. That's why people like it. That's it. Yep.
Alright then.
When it comes to like nameless, faceless shares and people investing, just trying to make money, it doesn't really matter what they did as long as that doesn't reflect in line go down. And when it did reflect in line go down, he got the line back up. So nobody really cared. Yeah. He was protected because he got the line up. That's how it works.
To me, I'm protective, not protected.
Yeah, speaking of which, move on.
Protective.
Protective. Sony patents.
That's the worst thing I've ever said.
Protective?
Yeah, protective.
Can I do like a sad ding? Like a, there you go.
No, I'm not done. I'm not done with that topic yet. So we're talking about sort of line go up and right. We're talking about is the quality of the game good? You know, if everybody keeps buying it, something. Anyway, I want to talk about this. Sony PlayStation is reportedly has come up with a strategy to break through the game's pricing barrier that we've talked about extensively in the past. Like the fact that a game has gone from being $59.99 in my childhood on the Super Nintendo to being like $69.99 today, $79.99. And again, this is Canadian currency, so you know there's
some of that's because our dollars up.
Yeah, exactly. It is wild when you consider that the end credits of a AAA title, you know, in 1994 was like. It might have taken 5 minutes, but that was because they had one name on the screen at a time.
And they'd have like animations between them and stuff.
It's tough, right? Like not that many people worked on Super Mario World, and that was a big game at the time, right? And so we've kind of talked about how wild that is and how is this sustainable? And obviously the industry has come up with some strategies. 10 people. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, like I think when you watch the end credits video, sometimes people's names come up more than once because they did multiple roles on the game. Don't quote me on that, but because this would be a memory from like being a kid. But I think I was like, hey, wait a minute. I'm not an expert at Japanese names, but wasn't that the same one I saw? Yeah, don't quote me on that. Don't quote me on that. But I've definitely seen it in some game or another, even if it wasn't Super Mario World. Yeah, over 6,000 people worked on Grand Theft Auto 5. So how is it even possible that these games cost the same amount? Now, obviously, there's economies of scale, right? Yeah. We're selling way more games these days to a much broader, more diverse array of gamers. But and GTA Online is a huge part of that success, being able to continually collect money from the gamers that
microtransactions
that are playing your game, cosmetics, all of that good stuff. But Sony and actually Nintendo to a significant extent, neither of them have really embraced that the same way as other developers have. Sony still does big single-player games. Nintendo still does buy once, cry once. We never discount our games, but for better or for worse, you own them, kind of. Just don't stream them or have a tournament of them.
Or probably talk about them or something.
Or expect to have your save game unless you give us a cloud subscription fee. You know, just Nintendo things.
Yeah.
Seems like an intense bunch over there. So Sony has a plan, or PlayStation, excuse me. They're reportedly planning on selling games in parts now for $50 each, which would raise overall prices. I have no idea how the math works on nichegamer.com, but by my math, would raise overall prices by $80 to $100, not to $80 to $100, because according to the article here, they are, and this is from the leak from Insomniac Games. According to the article, they are planning to release the next Spider-Man game in 3 parts for $50 each. And this is something we've seen before.
Yeah.
Last of Us, with the Final Fantasy VII Remake. Is
Wasn't that a
episodic
big thing with Telltale back in the day?
is episodic gaming back? Is this and whether you want whatever you want to brand it, episodic gaming, one game in parts, however you want to sort of brand it, is this a reasonable compromise to you?
Ooh.
So, what did you, hold on.
I'm thinking.
Think. Okay, so Bobby Kotick, for better or for worse, figured out a way to make that game company successful for its shareholders, and if it isn't successful for its shareholders, it won't exist.
Yeah.
Which is a cold, hard truth, and it sucks, but it's cold and it's hard and it's the truth.
Nice.
Is this a better solution than some, refried beans? We scraped some cheese off the floor, we threw it kind of back in there, and it's Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. The second Modern Warfare 2, Black Ops.
So my counter to that is that you're assuming that it's not just going to be both.
Well, these are single-player experiences. Okay, they probably will still have some cosmetics. I'm sure you can buy a Spider-Man suit and, flamboyant pink if you really want to or whatever.
Yeah.
But, is parts of a game better than a whole other game that's just like a crappier game?
Like, would you rather have bought Baldur's Gate 3 but 3 times, because one for each act, sorry,
Yes.
and for like $150?
Yeah. Or would you rather, or would you rather have, or would you rather have Baldur's Gate 2024, Baldur's Gate 2025, Baldur's Gate 2026, and them not be an enormous, beautifully voice-acted, rich, immersive game? Now, obviously, they made it work with Baldur's Gate 3.
Yeah, they smashed it.
But the thing is that they took a home run swing.
They did.
And those home run swings either go over the fence or they're a pop fly and you're out and you're done.
A lot of companies died. Obviously, they killed it. Amazing game. Yada yada.
Look, I was talking to a creator not that long ago who was planning to alter their release schedule from more frequent to, I think their target was going to be 1 a month or 1 every 2 months. Hold on. With the rationale being that Mark Rober does it. Ooh. And I kind of went, right, but here's the problem. There is one person on Earth who is Mark Rober. His name is Mark Rober. Just because Mark Rober can
especially when you have a team behind you,
consistently knock it out of the park, or at least into the upper bleachers, right? Just because he can do that. The guy's a literal rocket scientist, okay? And no offense, this was a very, very smart person who I respect a lot. If they're watching, yeah. But they're not Mark Rober. I'm not Mark Rober. Maybe someday Mark Rober won't even be Mark Rober.
And you also
to do that forever.
You also need to be in the right content sphere as well.
Yeah.
Because you might make a type of content that even if you did smash it out of the park, there just isn't enough people that are interested in that at all to to watch it. So like, there's some problems there too.
So it's very challenging. It's a challenging business model to just swing for the fences every single time.
It's like it feels dangerous.
So, are we back to episodic gaming, and is it here for real this time? I guess is my question.
Is episodic gaming gonna fix that? Because I feel like it's not episodic gaming. I feel like it's one game, multiple parts. Because like if it was episodic gaming, it feels like Warcraft 3 Frozen Throne. And in that case, I'm totally down. Genuinely good expansions, totally down. If Baldur's Gate 3 was like, hey, there's an Act 4, it took us a long time, it's going to cost some money, I'm down.
Okay, so then you are down.
Totally. But I don't think this is what they're talking about.
Did you play Wolf Among Us?
No.
Did you play any of Telltale Games games? Okay. So so then I can't even have this conversation with you, okay? Dan, did you play Wolf Among Us?
Yeah, I played Among Us.
Okay, cool.
Wonderful. Wait, hold
what?
on.
No,
I had to make that joke.
Not
I'm
the
sorry.
same game.
Yeah, no, I played that. Yeah. Yes.
Sus.
Yes.
This guy's sus.
No.
Okay. Is it one game? Or is it 6 games, or however many pieces it was in?
Yeah, I don't know. It's difficult. Like if it's all DLC, right?
The story was certainly not over after part 1, and as someone who wasn't familiar with episodic gaming, I was like kind of annoyed. Like, when's the next part coming out? But I mean, that's the desired result, right?
Give me Half-Life Episode 1, Half-Life Episode 2, same sort of vein, maybe.
Yeah, like the story wasn't over.
Yeah, I don't know if I agree though, because like.
But were they full price? Were they like $60 for each of the 6?
They were. I forget how much was episode.
BG3 hits a conclusion. It could continue, but it hit a conclusion. Warcraft 3 hit a conclusion. It obviously could continue because Frozen Throne, but it did hit a conclusion. Like these are games that come to an end, a reasonable end. But you could continue the story. It's not a problem, but you're not feeling left out. It's not like, oh, and they just entered the building that they've been trying to get to this whole time.
$20 more, please.
Please buy part 2.
I think
that's what's going to happen.
I think there's a level of intention, in my opinion, because I've seen some games that launch with day 1 DLC that's on the disc, that sort of thing. But if you're kind of releasing a $30 game and you're reusing the same assets and you're kind of just expanding on the story and maybe there's more work that has to be done that way, could see that as a reasonable level of business model.
I don't think just expanding on the story is fair to the writers. Just saying. I mean...
Yeah, get on.
But no, I mean...
Okay.
Sorry, I meant like from the non-technical side of things, right? You don't have to remake the engine or redesign the concept or anything like that, right?
I don't know, man. I think that you put a lot of pressure on yourself with an episodic model, though, because people are not necessarily going to... I think that whether it's developers putting pressure on themselves or whether it's gamers putting pressure on developers, there is some expectation that if you have 5 episodes that release over a span of several years, the last episode is probably going to look a little better than the first one.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, Star Wars Return of the Jedi, the special effects are a lot better than A New Hope. Because they, are, and probably should be. I don't think the technical team just goes on permanent vacation after you release episode 1 and you just leave it completely to the storytellers.
I think you'd have to keep that somewhat within reason.
What about...
It's still very likely that they're not going to iterate on the engine itself, but they might get better at doing certain things.
Yeah,
they might
I could see that.
expand their library of tools that the level designers and stuff can use.
What about, the requirement of the player to buy every single expansion just to get the complete story?
Well, the thing is that I actually... Okay, so I don't mind that. And here's the reason. Basically, episodic gaming is a tax on the people who can't wait to play it. And that already exists.
Is it?
Yeah.
Can't wait to play it.
Yeah.
Because you're saying it's going to be discounted in a bundle at some point?
At some point, if you're patient, just like with a game that is in one piece, you can buy it at launch and you'll pay $80 or $90 or I don't know, however many dollars This all seems to be very much in flux right now. The games industry seems to be trying to figure out how to make that number higher. And I get it, because we went from 10 people working on Super Mario World to 6,000 working
It's
on
unfortunate
GTA 5.
timing because the entire world is broke. But yes, I also understand it.
Yeah, but like part
Developer
of
salaries are very difficult.
what did they say? They lost like 5,000 or 6,000 jobs or something like that. Like, you're not going to fix people being broke by developers not getting paid enough.
No, I both sides of this suck. Basically, it just sucks.
So one way or another, if you were so excited to play it that you're willing to buy it in pieces for $50 each, and then if at the end of the day the whole thing is available for probably some reduced rate, because games do go down in price as long as they're not made by Nintendo, is it really any different than what we're doing now? Like, what difference would it have made?
That's what I'm almost kind of trying to want. Like, is Anno, whatever year it currently is Anno 18 whatever?
1800.
I thought it had additional.
They all add up to 9.
Oh,
I know, funny, right?
yeah, that actually helps. But
Yeah.
Okay. Anno 1800, is that episodic gaming?
No, that's expansion,
Those are expansion packs.
Yes, those are expansion
See, I
packs.
don't think I like episodic gaming. But I actually very much like expansion packs. I am very down with expansion packs. I also don't see expansion packs as DLC.
Okay, so
I think it has to be different. I see DLC as like, you have a new shirt.
let's go to a movie. Okay, is Empire Strikes Back an expansion pack, or is it an episodic game?
Okay, so now we're getting weird because I don't think it's either. I think it's just the next one.
What I'm asking is, did A New Hope give you enough closure to the story that you consider it to be a standalone piece of media?
If there's
What about A plot and B plot? Like Star Wars, all of them would be the A plot, and then each individual episode is more like the B plot, and they resolve every episode, right?
That's like the point I'm trying to make.
So
Exactly.
my counter here is
Exactly.
that each movie is substantial enough piece of content that I don't feel like it would be considered a part.
I don't know. There were some balls bluer than the surface of Hoth after Empire. That story was clearly not over.
Yeah, but it was a full movie. So like, if we're taking Spider-Man, I believe that's a Sony game.
Yeah.
With Sony IP. If we're taking Spider-Man, not the movie, but the game. If it just chops literally midway through the game, then that feels like I'm getting ripped in an episodic way.
Sure.
But if they're like, this is episodic gaming, you get a whole game and then later you get another whole game, it's like, okay, sure. I don't think that's what they're going for. I don't think they're trying to deliver 2 movies.
I don't think that Luke and I are ever going to see 100% eye to eye on this, because honestly, I am mostly just kind of talking through it. I don't really know how I feel about it. And I think it's going to come down to the individual IPs.
And how they get handled. Because I can fully imagine that there's going to be scenarios where this is totally fine.
And I'll tolerate a lot of bullshit from something that I'm really, really excited about.
Yeah.
I'm still playing that stupid f***ing Fantasian game. I've put like another probably 12 to 15 hours into it in the last couple of weeks, because I'm just like, darn it, it's beautiful, and the music is amazing, and it sort of tickles all the right, spots on me for, that kind of retro RPG sort of vibe, but with some modern sensibilities. But it's a bad game. It was done as 2 parts. I shouldn't say it's a bad game. It has very big problems, and some of them are caused by the fact that it was done in 2 parts. And it was done in 2 parts for business reasons. In this case, not to make you buy part 1 and part 2, but to keep you subscribed to Apple Arcade. And I put up with it. So basically what I'm saying is I'm just as bad as all of you.
Not quite.
Who are
Not quite.
I am giving... Do you know how much I've spent on Apple Arcade? Because I have taken so long to finish the game, and I have been just like...
I know someone personally who spent over $2,000 on League of Legends skins, and I guarantee you, in saying that, there will be a bunch of people in chat that are like, that's low. I don't think it's the same.
Okay. Do you want to know how much I have spent on Apple Arcade?
$150.
I don't know how much it costs. Wait, yes. So it's $6. They did manage to take $6 from me there. Yeah, I got a few billing problems.
Someone at Folkplay chat, $4,900 on the screen.
Hold on, okay, I gotta add this up. 12. Oh, they increased the price.
Someone who apparently spent a few grand on Valorant skins. Someone at Folkplay chat, I mean I spent $15,000 on a pay-to-win MMO. And let's not even talk about Overwatch 2's complete farce sequel that I lost money on.
Okay, well I've only spent $34 on that.
LOL, just my CS2 skins are $6,000 USD. Not League, but $4,712 in Star Citizen. Yeah, I don't think it's the same. $24,000 on Puzzle and Dragons?
I also would have spent about double that if my subscription hadn't had a problem, because the only reason I didn't fix it was because I didn't know, because I didn't check that email. So I would have spent like $70 on Fantasia, which I guess is a perfectly reasonable amount of money to spend. I'm on the final boss now. Okay, the point is... I don't remember what the point is anymore. You made your point. How about that? You happy?
Yes.
Feel good?
Yep.
You like that? All right. I don't know. Episodic gaming. I see the problems, but I think we're gonna accept it for the IPs and the experiences that we really love. I mean, if Valve came out and said, yeah, we're gonna do episodes 3, 4, and 5, people would buy the out of them.
Oh yeah.
No question.
I wonder how
hesitation.
much
They would pre-order the out of them.
Do you think there's a risk here of shoot self in foot? Like, what if episode 1 comes out, it's cheaper than you'd normally sell a full game for, and people don't like it, and they don't buy the further episodes?
I mean, if I had to guess, I'd say that might be the problem with episodic gaming.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not in the boardrooms at any of these, at Telltale or at Valve or whatever. Does Valve even have a boardroom, or do they just have, like, lounge chairs? I'm not sure.
Probably lounge chairs.
Who knows? Are the lounge chairs in New Zealand, or, like...
The boardroom is one
Only
enormous
Gabe Mills is
circular
there?
table that everyone can fit at. Yeah, I don't know. Because the first thing this makes me think of is things like Telltale games, where the first one that comes out has a ton of hype and like everyone plays it, and then the further episodes come out and people fall.
Yeah, I don't know what this is. Anyway, the point is that says people are accepting it with the Final Fantasy VII Remake and are paying $70 for Part 1 and 2, with the supposed Part 3 on the way and a potential Part 4 coming too. Yeah, I mean, personally, I'm just gonna wait.
$280 for one game?
Yeah,
It's all just Final Fantasy VII.
Well, Final Fantasy VII Remake, which has the story has apparently been retooled significantly so that they do kind of stand alone.
Just Final Fantasy VII.
But it's Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 1, 2, 3, and 4.
But what are the parts? Is it all just Final Fantasy VII?
I mean, theoretically, I guess.
Like, this isn't, you're not getting 7, 8, 9, and 10 or something?
I mean, Final Fantasy VII came on, I think it was 4 discs, so, like, it doesn't seem that unreasonable. I mean, the last disc was basically just, like, very little content because it had to contain so many of the areas that you'd already explored, but that's neither here nor there.
Each part of the Final Fantasy VII Remake feels like a complete game.
So then if you're okay with that, then it's all good, right?
I am personally okay with
Well, then what if the writers for Baldur's Gate 3, who are obviously very talented, what if they were just given the objective of making Acts 1, 2, and 3 tie up in a nice little bow at the end of each one, and then they could release a year apart and, give everyone something to do in that constant cash flow?
I don't think it would have worked as well.
Look, it won Game of the Year.
Yeah.
So obviously, to go back and say, well, maybe we should have done it, it's kind of stupid, because it's been a huge financial success for Larian and been beloved by gamers.
Yeah.
But we're not talking necessarily specifically about Baldur's Gate 3. We're talking strategically about how swinging for the fences every time may not be viable for everyone whose name is not Larian Studios.
Because I pretty much guarantee you whatever...
They're not Mark Rober,
You're not Mark Rober. You're not Larian Studios. Sorry. Yeah, 'cause I
Mine
could
is stop
pretty
trying to
much
make games worse.
guarantee
I'm not trying to make games worse. I'm trying to have a conversation.
I think it's a risky move. Just like not doing it is also a risky move. I think there isn't really like a safe bet here, because if you release an Act 1 is bad, you might be able to decide to just stop making the other ones. So that might actually be helpful. Except theirs was good and they just decided to stop making it anyways. Whatever. But yeah, like that might be helpful from a financial investment standpoint. But I think your chance at like a really big splash kind of falls off after the first game.
Yeah. No,
Like I'm
100%.
wondering if Larian dropped BG3 Act 1 and it killed because it would have. Are they going to see the same amount of total success at the end if they release?
They're going to have a full year for that hype to kind of die down, for people to get distracted and go play other games. You know, maybe you don't get the same kind of, you know, incredible community around the game. No,
Constant discussion. Like I'm sure
No, you're
overall it still would have killed. Absolutely.
I mean,
it's a fantastic game.
we're going to find
Would
out.
have done as well though. I don't know.
We're going to find out, because clearly this is going to happen.
Yeah. It did early access. I know they had early access, but
That's not what we're talking
it's
about.
not the
though.
same thing.
Okay, the last thing that I wanted to talk about, like gaming-wise, before we say goodbye to this topic, is do I have to beat the final boss of Fantasian, or can I just like call it here? You know, it did that like classic JRPG thing where the final boss has like 3 stupid fucking phases where they get like increasingly ridiculously difficult. I've already spent about an hour fighting it, and then it's like, oh yeah, there's another phase. This is like their true god form, and I quickly looked. I was like, how hard is this stupid fight? Because I like scraped by the second phase, and the third phase is like ludicrous. Like I'm basically gonna have to go reload a save point somewhere else. Like at this point, can I say, look, I played. There was a no progression bug. This like stone golem at a river didn't fall over when I killed him, so I can't walk over his body and like get to some good stuff on the other side. And I'm just like, can I just be done with this thing, and can I just watch the end credits like on YouTube? What do you think? Philosophically, I've put like 60 hours into it.
Philosophically, it's a video game. Who cares?
Well, no, I just mean like look, have I invested enough time to say, look, I played the game?
I had stuff like, have I told you about my, what is it, XCOM 2? Have I told you about that? Where I had to
Yeah,
just
where you
watch
had the
that on
non-progression
YouTube?
bug. Yeah.
Yeah, that sucked. It was a hardcore run, so you only had the one save, because they wanted, like, if people died and stuff on your team, it was permadeath, so they didn't want you to be able to go back and give them back again.
Yeah.
And then I got into a non-progression bug, so I couldn't load a previous save and then avoid it. It was so frustrating.
Yeah, Final Fantasy Tactics was famous for that too.
I want to clarify, because there seems to be confusion. No episodic content and Larian releasing Act 1 as a no, not a standalone game. A early access thing is super not the same thing.
Okay.
Like very, very, very much not the same.
Yeah.
We're talking about marketing investment. We're talking about a lot of people just straight up ignoring stuff because of the early access flag. I had pre-ordered Baldur's Gate 3 because I was a huge fan of Original Sin 2, and I was pretty sure it was going to be good. I had it loaded and never launched the early access version because I'm like, it's early access. I don't care that people say it's good. I'm going to wait till it's out. A lot of people are going to act that way. It is very much not the same thing at all. So, just we're moving on from
Man, they say I have to beat it.
You don't have to beat it.
Like
have
leveling
to
in this
beat it
game
at
is so hard, and it's because it was like part 1, part 2. So the leveling and like, XP curve is super messed up because they didn't want you to level too much toward the end of part 1, and then in part 2, I don't know what happened. Like there's a whole thing with this game. Like in conclusion, don't have Apple fund your game and make it exclusive to Apple Arcade, because there's a lot of problems with it. It's gonna take
If
forever.
this was something like Diablo 1, you would use like a trainer or a glitch to boost your team up, and then you would just go through the fight, and by doing that, who cares anyways, so just go watch it on YouTube.
But if it was Diablo 1, then you would just respawn back at the thing, spawn a new generated dungeon, go fight level 17 a couple more times, and then fight him. The problem is that it's really, really difficult in this game to farm XP. That's the issue. Is that it will take forever to grind levels. And I just don't think I
the
care.
tedium of that does not sound valuable to me.
Yeah, right.
If it was a difficulty thing.
And yes,
Whatever.
Jack Smoo says you don't have to beat a game that's basically forcing you to keep a subscription by making the game harder than it needs to be. Now, to be clear, there's a lot of things about the game that are hard in ways that are really creative and really cool. I don't think I have ever played an RPG where the boss fights are that unique and that different. Like, you have a party that's, I think, a total of 8 characters, and you can swap them in and out anytime you want in a fight. Except when you can't. And I don't think anyone has had exactly the same strategy. You know, everything from, you know, rocks that go around the boss that you have to, like, time to try to get your attacks through or around, because different attacks either strike from the top down, or they go around, or they penetrate, or they can be blocked, but they're more powerful. Like, it's actually got a ton of depth to the combat. I had some people really upset with me about what I said about Sea of Stars last week, where I said I found the combat kind of bland.
Is it because of In Contrast?
In contrast to Fantasian and Chained Echoes, it is bland. I mean, Chained Echoes is easy, so that's a problem with that, because you just highlight any enemy and it's like, yeah, here's the weaknesses and, like, here's how much health it has.
So I hear all of that, but
Yeah.
Ether Dark in Full Plane Chat said it well. He said you're being milked. If part of the game design is like, make them take a long time, make it really annoying, they're really invested by the end of the game, they're gonna keep going. Like, I don't know.
Get them hooked on the myth that is excellent boss battles.
Yeah.
All right, here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna cancel my Apple Arcade subscription right now.
And if you can beat it in time, then good.
And if I beat it in time, then I'm done. And if I don't, then I'm not. And as far as I can tell, my save game will not be retained. That was a big thing for me. That's the reason that I waited so long to play this game.
Save game?
Hey, this is Storm Cloud. Isn't that ridiculous? So that's why I held out for so long until I found out, because I didn't actually know, because I didn't look into it, that the game was completely funded by Apple. And I was like, oh, all right, well, this is just never coming to anything. Like, I thought it was just an exclusivity deal, as far as I can tell.
Can't, like, back up the save game in iCloud?
That's disgusting.
Well, yeah, but I'm not going to pay for
Makes me
iCloud.
angry.
I thought there was a certain amount of iCloud that's free.
I don't know.
I have no idea.
Guys, let me know. Let me know. Can you pirate the game? I mean, not unless you found an iOS emulator. Oh my God. Not that I'm aware of. So, you know what?
5 gigs of storage for free. I don't know if that's possible at all.
I just don't think I don't know if your Apple Arcade
What is it
save
called?
games
Apple Arcade?
go there. Yeah.
Arcade.
Apparently
save
it's restored
game.
when you resubscribe, but I mean, after how long? Because I will never resubscribe to Apple Arcade. So I really wanted to wait until it was available on a platform where I could back up my save game. I wanted to play it on PC, but now at least, you know what? I'm saying I've played it.
Yeah.
I left it paused last night because it was really late, and I was like, this is ridiculous. I can't believe this is going to be like another hour of fighting this stupid thing. His health and his damage double with each phase.
And you've seen each phase, right?
I've seen the first 2 phases. I'm about to see the 3rd phase.
Okay.
I think that I could just say, yeah, I could have gone in, like, got the legendary, you know, whatevers, and grinded for more upgrade crystals and whatever.
Is there
but I think I'm
adventure
just not gonna
/
bother.
story to getting that legendary thing you just mentioned, or is it just grinding?
Not much. I've solved most of the quest stuff. There's, like, this void realm that you can go to. As far as I can tell, it just has, like, some juiced up versions of some monsters you fought before. It seems kind of lazy and tacked on.
Okay.
So I think I'm just not going to bother. I'll
Lazy
try.
and tacked on, like, a pool of experience that they decided to increase the difficulty by, so they can have to spend more time playing the game.
Yeah.
Fantasian playtest on Steam. Fantasian playtest.
I know that it's listed. I know that it was listed on Steam. This happened well after I had already moved pretty deep into it.
Last recorded update was 5 months ago.
Yeah, this showed up then, and as far as I can tell, nothing has really changed since then. It's possible it'll get released, but like I said, it turned out that it was pretty much completely funded by Apple as far as I can tell, so I don't know if Apple was strongly incentivized. Like, does Apple really need the, like, you know, 100 grand or whatever that this game is going to make when it releases on Steam? I don't know how much hype there is around it anymore. There was a lot
There
of
was a
lead up.
lot at the start, yeah.
But now it's also, there's also been like a retro RPG renaissance
Absolutely.
since then, where the games just have been available and you can just like buy them. So there's not a lot of, and they're gonna have to do a lot of fixes to make this game ready for a broader release, I think.
I don't know if I told you or not, but AMD GPU update no longer crashing.
Oh, you got a driver update that fixed it?
Theoretically,
All right.
I haven't had problems since. I didn't have problems for like 6 months, and now I haven't had problems for like a week. So I don't know if I trust it or not yet, but I will probably be diving back into Final Fantasy VI this weekend with the hopes that it doesn't delete my progress again.
Oh, Hironobu Sakaguchi apparently always wanted to release it on other platforms and has been talking about it a lot because he can. Yeah, that makes sense because Apple paid for it. What a bummer. All right. Oh, we're supposed to explain merch messages and do 2 merch messages. All right, Dan, I'll do it. Merch messages are the way to interact with the show. Ooh, and we have something really exciting for you guys this week. Have you seen all these?
I was creeping them before the show.
What?
I was looking at
Why are
it.
you ruining things? Why are you
Looking
ruining
at it.
things, Luke? Okay, well, why don't you show them?
Yeah.
Why don't you show them the pins?
Yeah, we have full plain dark mode because you can't get on the website, so you might as well get a pin of it.
Say the line, Bart. Poor guy.
Then we have rainbow and non-rainbow versions of the Flowplane logo.
These are actually super clean. When we did the like fail print ones, I was like, oh, these are pretty good actually. Like these are probably fine. They seemed okay to me, and then these are nice.
Sarah did such a great job of the backings for these. We've got the rest of Series 3. Drew some inspiration from the screwdriver, from the classic intro, from the ABCs of gaming. And then this, my personal favorite. You whined, you bitched,
Oh, come on.
and now you've got it.
Yeah.
The Luke enamel pin from that old pin series that had all of the LMG staff at the time. Luke technically didn't work for Linus Media Group at the time, so he didn't
Yeah.
get a pin.
Yeah.
And he has been riding me about that for like 5 years.
Did you see what the background is?
Yeah, it's Salty Luke.
From one specific episode on the show. Wow. Amazing.
And it's resolved now. We good?
Nope.
We're good. So we've got our Series 3 pins. I don't remember exactly how it works with the like hollow one.
Hollow one?
Yeah, there's one special one, like the floatplane one. Yeah, the dark mode one. I think that one is. I don't know if you can like.
It says Series 3 on it.
Yeah, but I don't know if you can choose that one or if it's random.
Oh.
I can't remember. Anyway, they're in the bonus bin now, so that's cool. Oh, hey, we have a correction from last week's newsletter. One of the features that we mentioned for our upcoming precision driver is that we said, and just below the end cap, you'll find what we believe is a first for a driver of this size, organized in-handle bit storage. This wasn't correct, as the plastic version of iFixit's precision driver does feature a removable end cap with integrated SIM tool and 3 slots in the end cap for bits. That is a thing they have. Yeah, I have never actually used that one, and the only precision drivers that we bought for comparison were metal ones. Thank you to the community for the feedback and correction. I mean, iFixit is still a collaborator of ours, so we weren't trying to like. We're trying to like dump on their glory there with the integrated bit storage. Our bit storage is differenter than what they did, and we don't consider that the plastic driver to be a competing product in any way. But yeah, we should have definitely been more accurate with our language there. Hey, make sure to sign up for the Creator Warehouse newsletter for more new content in the next few weeks. We're gonna have that at the bottom of ltststore.com. All right, why don't we go ahead and get to a couple merch messages? Oh, right. How do you send them? They show up down here, or they go to our producer Dan, who will reply to them, or forward them to someone who can help, or maybe sometimes forward them to me and Luke to talk about. All you got to do is go to the cart, see the merch message box that shows up whenever we're live, and type out your merch message, and then Dan will maybe pick one for us to talk about. What do we got, Dan?
Yeah, I've got one kind of on the last topic. You're okay with that?
Sure.
Oh, no, wait, no. I uncurated that one. Never mind. Loved the ASL discussion last week. I actually took my first ASL class this fall. Aside from cochlear implants, what new tech do you think may help deaf and hearing people, hearing people communicate with each other?
Honestly, this is such a cop-out answer, but AI. The ability for computers to interpret sign language is basically negligible without
Guesstimations involved.
exactly
Yeah.
without some kind of neural network to rely on.
Because it's not going to be an exact thing every time. Not only, like you were talking about last time, is some amount of it creative,
Yes.
but it's also physical movements that could be slightly off here or there, or someone might have a slightly unique twist to how they do it, and it might be able to be inferred, but would,
Mickers Oss in Flipplane Chat says, I want to learn sign language just so I can talk to my wife across a public space like a pool. It is way more useful than you would even think. It's incredible. Crowded restaurant. It's loud, let's go. And you can do that from across a friggin' room. Yeah.
I've noticed.
I'll meet you over there. Like,
I've noticed this too, not in just you, but I have also noticed it in you because you're probably the person I've seen do ASL more than anyone else. But you'll whisper while you do it. That's for lip reading reasons, right?
No. Actually, a lot of signs have a mouth gesture that goes with them. So there's facial expressions. It's a whole thing. It's what you're saying. It's where you're saying it. It's how big you're saying it. Like if I say, I got in my car. This is a little car. But if I say I got in my car, well, I'm probably in a truck
or something. Yeah. Okay. Yeah,
that matters.
Yeah.
So everything matters. How big you're gesturing, how sharp you're gesturing. Like if you're like, I'm angry, like you stop. You know, stop. It has expression exactly the same way that our voices do.
Yeah.
And I forget what you were saying before, but I was responding to it, and I think I'm done.
I think so. Yeah. You did. I said you whisper when you.
Oh yeah. Oh, one great example of that is that the bird in ASL still means
Yeah.
kind of what it means, but it's not nearly as strong as it is to hearing people. And the mouth gesture for it is but it doesn't actually mean you the way that it does in hearing culture or up yours or whatever. It doesn't. It's not as bad is my understanding of it anyway. But yeah, no, there's definitely mouth things, but if you see me mouthing along, it's probably just because I don't speak.
Not quite as fluent, so you're kind of running.
A lot of the time, so I'm not at the level of fluency where I just think in sign. Sorry, guys.
How long will Pins Series 3 be on sale for? Wrong side of Christmas to buy them all.
I don't know. We produce them, and then they are gone.
Forever?
Forever is a big word. We've talked about it internally.
No real intention.
Yeah, well,
that's good for me to know because I got to answer these people, right?
Yeah, it's something we've talked about, and it's one of those things where it's we don't want to create artificial scarcity. That's not the point. But we also don't want to just have every pin ever as a stocked item on the store forever. So I think that it is never impossible that something would ever come back, but I would say at this time that we have so many ideas for pins that to loop back around and reprint them seems improbable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Might not be as cool for collectory people too.
One more? What do you think?
Yeah, actually, that's an interesting question. Is it a favor to the people who haven't bought one? Or is it to reprint something? Is it more of a favor to the people who haven't bought one? Or is it more of an FU to the people who are collectors and who bought it wanting something exclusive?
NFT.
But it's a whole other thing. This is an actual physical thing that was crafted and is like.
I mean, that's me saying I'm not entirely sure. I would feel bad if I wanted something that was exclusive and then somebody else got it, and then it was like, oh well, I thought I was special. But you're not marketing it as like this will only be made once. There's only 100 of them.
I think there's been a couple pins that way, but not in general.
Yeah. I've seen people get very angry at we're doing a serialized number of 1 to 100 and that's all we'll ever make, and then like they do another run of.
Oh yeah, that's super.
I hate
super
that.
bad.
I don't think it's the same thing.
That's not a good thing to do.
Yeah.
All right, hit me again, Dan.
Sure. Just flying back from Disney on my honeymoon. Linus, what did you and your wife do for your honeymoon? And have you ever built a lightsaber?
We went to Greece. We went to Santorini. Our intention was to stay there for 2 weeks. It took about 4 days, I think, for us to start getting bored. We didn't realize, we're from Canada, where places are really big, and we ATV'd the entire circumference of the island, on the somethingth day, and kind of ripped around across it as well, and we were like, oh. And we started kind of memeing on what there was to do on the island. So we'd be on the ATV and we'd be like, we'd get each other's attention, like really excited. We'd be like, look, honey, it's scenery. We're more doers than viewers.
Yeah,
if that kind of makes sense.
This is a problem that I run into when traveling, because there's some specific stuff I like to do when traveling, but I find not a ton of people like doing that, so there often isn't actually that many opportunities for it.
Yvonne and I, since then, usually come back from vacation far more tired than we were when we left for it. It's not a refreshing thing for us. We went to Mexico once for, I believe it was 7 days, and we dived 13 times or something like that. It was ridiculous. We went as many times as you can go without it becoming a problem for your health.
Yeah, that's what when I was in Greece a while back, that's what I did. I was either out on the water, out under the water, studying, or sleeping. There was pretty much nothing in between. I guess eating, but I would usually only eat 1 meal a day because I didn't have time.
So after that, we kind of went. I had the idea of visiting one of our Left 4 Dead gaming buddies in Dubai, because we happened to be a lot closer than normal, and it just turned out that it didn't really work out. We found flights and everything, and we were the visas would have taken too long. So again, ignorant Canadian thing. We just thought that, Canadians just walked into any country they felt like, because we do have a pretty good passport. But it turns out Dubai needed a few days, and it would have eaten up a lot of our vacation, our limited amount of time, because we still had to fly back out of, I think it was Athens or something like that. So we didn't end up going to Dubai. Instead, we flitted over to, I think we might have spent a couple days in Athens, and then we were like, let's go to Rome, where I have to, man, this is going to be super unpopular. I did not like the food.
In Greece?
Rome. I didn't like the food in Greece either. It's really oily. I'm not that into, I don't like oil on my food.
I mentioned that I was having 1 meal a day. I found this one cafe that I really liked. I had food at a few places that I really didn't like. Then I found one cafe that was amazing. I ate there every day.
People are so upset with me. Man, maybe it was just the touristy places or whatever.
That's
but
a big problem.
No offense to the birthplace of pizza or whatever, but wow. Where cheese you're gonna put on it?
I had the best pizza I've ever had at a extremely Italian pizzeria in Germany. So I believe it's a thing. It's probably the tourist trappy stuff though, because the places I was eating in Greece that were garbaggio were tourist trappy.
Sure.
And then I found this cafe place that was like a little bit off the road, didn't have anything on their menu in English type of situation, and it was fantastic. Very good.
Yeah,
Very good.
I just, it was so expensive, and it's just like, remember guys, we were on our honeymoon, which means we were splurging a little, but we had a house to pay for. Like, we had just bought a house the year prior, and we were trying to put in double our monthly mortgage payments in order to pay down as much principal as possible. So maybe if you go to Rome and you blow a bunch of money on like really high-end food, like it's better. But I remember at the time feeling like these meals are costing double, literally double of what we would pay for a nice meal at home. And it's like a flat thing of bread with like a bit of sauce and like some cheese sprinkled on it. That's a pizza? Are you kidding me?
That is sort of a thing.
Where's my toppings? Yeah, well,
I think that is a very Canadian.
yeah, I mean, and that's fair enough, but it offends me from a bill of materials standpoint.
This is the thing that's going to get you canceled for the show.
Yeah.
It's like,
no.
you can't tell me that like 14 cents worth of flour and like half of a friggin' cherry tomato and like a little couple sprinklings of cheese is worth like the 20 euros or whatever it was costing me at the time.
There's
Like,
also a
I'm
single
sorry,
leaf
but
of
no.
basil. You're forgetting about the single leaf of basil. Do you know the price of basil?
It's basil, Dan, but okay.
No, I'll get canceled from my side of the pond.
Oh man, there's things I can say about this, but neither I nor anyone in chat is going to change his mind, so it doesn't really matter.
No, I want to hear it. I want to hear it.
There's to include expenses, the oven at like Domino's and the oven at wherever you ate is probably not exactly the same caliber.
Sure, but why would I give two shits what oven it came out of? I'm eating the food, not the oven.
Yeah, but that is going to result in a difference. People do this thing where like when they analyze pizza, they like look at the bottom of it to see the cookbooks and all this other kind of stuff. It's like influences stuff that I don't understand or care about personally. But it's like it's a whole thing.
It didn't taste good.
Okay.
And the portions were small and I was still hungry.
Okay. Was it a tourist trap spot?
It was well rated. I know.
I found when I was in Japan, by the way, they are brutal. Like nothing is rated 5 stars. Most of the like
hilarious.
good stuff is like 3.8. Like it's they are so brutal. I was looking around like, wow, there's like nowhere good. What's going on? I was like, oh, good is like 4.2. There is like it's like the highest rating in this entire town.
Yeah, I can see that. Okay, yeah, let's do some more topics before I get myself super canceled by the Europeans.
Yeah, Avon Fox said, do you charge for the 2-minute IP fix or the years of experience game to make it 2 minutes?
Well,
That
it depends.
argument
If the IT
fades-
fix like f***ing sucks,
that
then
argument
it
fades
doesn't
when
matter.
he hates the pizza.
Yeah, it just didn't taste good.
Yeah.
And it's look, it's not like I can't accept different kinds of pizza. Like I'll go to New York and eat like a New York style pizza or whatever. I don't care.
Ever had Chicago deep dish?
Yes.
I went to a
Yeah, that's a whole thing.
reportedly I'm gonna get canceled now. I went to a reportedly like famous, very well known Chicago deep dish place.
I can't say I'm a fan.
That ain't it, man. That was a mistake.
You're gonna get uncanceled by the entirety.
Americans mad at us.
No,
It
but
doesn't matter
all
if
of New
Europeans
York
get mad at us.
now loves you.
They can't do anything from over there. The Americans are gonna be like, hey, yeah, what's it? I don't know. I can't do an American accent. But it doesn't matter. The voice. They're gonna come up here.
What's it? That's how you sound American. Hey, what's it?
Yeah, I found it soggy.
Oh man, and it's just
Soggy bread is not a feature. That's a bug.
it's just
I'm
like
sorry.
a cheese meat pie at this point.
Sorry,
which
not
I
sorry.
understand the called pizza
Just
pies,
make
but
a
like,
lasagna.
Yeah,
you know, use
There's better things you can do with that mix of ingredients.
use a wheat product that is not so susceptible to being a disgusting, mushy mess.
Yeah. God, I was like actually pretty excited for it, and we went and we had to wait in line for this place because it's like I don't remember who I was with, probably Brandon, but we had to wait in line for this place that was like all well known, blah 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 blah. We wait in line, we get our pizza, one bite in, I'm just like,
Man,
what?
I went to a supposedly famous Jewish deli in New York, like in Manhattan, and I ordered a Reuben,
Yeah.
and I was just like, it's fucking dry. Like, are you kidding me?
How do you even like make a Reuben dry?
I don't know. They didn't have enough mustard on it. I was like, what? It's dry.
Reuben is like it's like covered in sauerkraut. How do you even manage?
I don't know. Okay, to be clear, you can make an amazing Reuben, and you can make a disgusting Reuben, and there's basically nothing in between.
It's pretty.
But like, imagine screwing up it just being dry. What the heck? And like, again, there was like a line.
Yeah.
And I'm just sitting here going, well,
I find a lot of the
this
line
is the
places.
most basic sandwich that, like, everything else was like, I was like, okay, I'm just gonna go with like the one. You know, it's like going to a Thai restaurant and being like, I'll have your pad Thai and some, you know, peanut sauce chicken skewers. If you can't get this right, realistically, nothing else on your menu is probably any good anyway.
Yeah. Yeah. I find a lot of the places that get the lines. It's not the way to go. Like
It's all hype, man. It's hype.
when my brother and I were in Japan, I think I've told this story before, but all the food that we had in Tokyo was honestly like not very good. But it's because we weren't really trying. We just like walk by, okay, we'll just go in there, whatever.
Just like a random ramen place. Like,
Yeah. So it was like fine,
Probably fine.
but it wasn't amazing or anything. And then we went to
Everything I had in Japan when I went was not bad, though.
none of it
I
was
couldn't find anything
bad.
bad.
I ended up having one thing that I didn't like, but it was a mistake on my part. I ordered something I shouldn't have. I just didn't take enough time when I was looking at the menu, so that's not their fault. And then we went to the smaller town that we were staying at for when we were doing the drifting event,
Yeah.
and spent a little bit more time picking the places and stuff. Every single time it was like mind-blowing. Every single time. But it was a lot of like, you know, not the first result on Google things.
I just like to jump in and say that Canadian food is too.
Yeah.
Like, we don't even have a cuisine. Honestly. Oh, come on. When's the last time you had good poutine? Have you ever
Yes.
had good poutine? Because
Legitimately, I think it's 8 years ago.
the Costco one is...
No, Montreal.
Okay,
acceptable.
so here's the problem. Even in Montreal, I found it's pretty hit or miss. I lived there for an entire summer. Even in Montreal, very hit or miss. And it is always something basic. They can have great fries, delicious gravy, real curds of cheese, real curds. And if you don't fucking heat up the gravy enough and it doesn't melt the fucking cheese, you're not eating poutine. You're eating fries in gravy that are cold and hunks of cheese. You're eating them separately now. If the cheese is not melted, it's disgusting.
What do you think about poutine abominations? That's a thing I came up with on the spot, but there's a
And like, honestly, we put way too much sugar in everything. I blame the Americans. They're a bad influence on our dietary habits.
Yeah.
I eat too much sugar, 100%.
Yeah. The amount of stuff that poutine crimes on Reddit, I haven't heard of that. But yeah, there's this restaurant called Streets that's local. It's not streets as in the road, it's STR and then eats. But it's one word, whatever. They have poutine. Is there a menu? Did you just order online? How do I see the menu? Hello? Weird website. But I've seen their menu before, which I don't know if I can even find it right now. But they have some weird. It's definitely not poutine, but it's in the poutine category. But it's kind of poutine related poutine. Here we go. Okay, fine. Raw fries, cheese, very good. Then they get they just call it pierogi poutine. Mini pierogies, bacon, sauteed onions, shredded cheese, green onions, sour cream. And there's no gravy. There's no cheese curds. Buffalo chicken poutine, crispy chicken, Frank's red hot sauce, gravy, cheese curds.
I think they're taking some artistic license with the word poutine.
Yeah, they're talking fries in a bowl with stuff on top of it. That's that's the minimum requirement for poutine.
I mean, by that logic, you can get fish poutine, and it's just like deep fried haddock on top of fries.
yeah, it's fish
with
and chips,
coleslaw,
but in a different physical orientation. Yeah, so I think that's how like most people get around it, is they just ditch the original what poutine actually is, and they're like, oh, I'll have this other stuff.
Yeah, and like on it, like Japadog. Japadog is supposed to be like super famous. It's like it's a hot dog.
Yeah, I had one of those. I was like, that is definitely a hot dog with stuff on top of it. I find a lot of the famous places, personally, I enjoy more flavor. I find a lot of them to be on the more mild side. Both spice, but then general flavor as well. I find them to be more chill.
So yeah, I know we've kind of dunked on everyone's food. I guess what I'm trying to say is we're just haters.
Yeah.
So don't take it personal.
Yeah.
Please, America, don't come after us.
None of my favorite places to eat around here serve Canadian food, let alone North American food. So it is what it is.
Yeah, honestly, I think that's one of the best things about living in Vancouver.
Yeah, food melting pot. Very good.
Yeah, you can get like anything here. Yeah. And it's good. And I think honestly that's part of what kind of spoils me. Like going back to something we were talking about before, but I forgot now. But yeah, no, it's great. It's great.
Yeah.
All right, why don't we? We're supposed to do some topics. Sorry, Dan.
How did we start talking about?
I don't know. It doesn't matter. Sony patents an automatic difficulty curve. Right? No, this was the one I wanted to talk about with my "what if you don't quite finish the game" thing, because beating games, all of a sudden, is just not going to be a thing anymore? Sony has filed a patent for a system that dynamically tweaks the difficulty of a game based on player performance using specially designed algorithms. The algorithms would assess and project player performance, then automatically and incrementally adjust parameters relating to movement speed, delay or hesitation, character strength, number of competitors, or other metrics until the player's performance matches an expected level.
This is never going to work.
Similar systems have been implemented in past games, notably
for years.
Beat 'em Up God Hand from 2006, which grows more challenging in response to player successes. So the discussion question here is not about Sony's patent. I think they're going to have an extremely difficult time patenting this concept. But what I would like to talk about is, are the days of beating games gone? Dead? Over?
No.
Are you just being stubborn?
No, I don't think so, actually.
Okay.
I think maybe stuff like that is going to invade certain AAA things, but people are going to resist. Some amount of game developers are always going to resist to some degree. And we saw, like, when was that? Like 2014, 2015, we saw AAA games go kind of in the hole a little bit, and the indie scene just exploded because they saw a hole, because AAA industry was leaving that hole open. I don't think you'd see a Elden Ring style game make itself completely unbeatable. I don't think you'd see a Baldur's Gate 3 make itself completely unbeatable. There's going to be these franchises that are like, no, there's a conclusion.
Hold on. That's not what I really meant. I meant the achievement of beating a game being over.
Oh, yeah.
I think people will beat games because they're going to design it so that when you're playing Spider-Man, you could barely be able to hold a controller and still be an unbeatable badass.
So I
was going completely the opposite way with this.
I still don't think that's going to be a thing, though, because I'm going to just constantly use Baldur's Gate. I really tried to find another one with Elden Ring, but I don't think this is a thing on Elden Ring. I think there's just one difficulty, right?
I actually don't know.
I think
you can definitely make life harder for yourself if you just don't wear any armor.
Custom
or
challenges and stuff.
Yeah.
But I think there just is Elden Ring. It just is the game. It is one difficulty. But like, there's 3 difficulties. Wow. Thought there was more. But anyways.
Yeah, there's only one to him. Giga Chat Gamer.
Baldur's Gate. Oh, Elden Ring has 1. Sorry. What? Baldur's Gate 3, which is what they were probably talking about, has different difficulty levels that are actually very specific and change the game significantly. And I think there's also other games where people will play that game, or at least find replayability from that game due to specifically the difficulty levels.
Yeah.
I think there's going to be other games, like I think you mentioned Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Totally. And at a certain level, I mean, I haven't played the game, but probably, like, who cares?
You heard it here first, folks.
What?
I mean, you play Spider-Man?
I mean, no, I don't mean
we're
that.
Trying to
I don't mean that.
something?
I've actually heard it's a fantastic game, but, like, is the difficulty level of the game what matters?
I mean, to someone. I mean, if we didn't feel a sense of accomplishment in gaming, why would we do it? Like, that's the part of our brain that it, lights up. That's the whole point of it, as far as I can tell.
Yeah.
It's to make you feel like you achieved something. We literally have achievements. That's what we actually call them.
Yeah, I guess the hidden nature of the difficulty change is the annoying part. Because,
that's what I'm talking about.
There's a billion games that will do suggested difficulty changes.
Yep, or even you can manually adjust it, like back to Sea of Stars. There's a whole class of items that, as far as I can tell, exists as a way of adjusting the difficulty curve. So I stubbornly refused to equip any of them, which made things just take longer, as far as I can tell. To go back again, I probably just wouldn't bother. But doing it automatically, I guess, is what kind of bugs me about it, because it's a matter of time.
That has also existed, but it's usually revealed to the player.
Yeah, it's a matter of time until they just don't. Until they just release the game. And because remember, what the goal of the developer is to make sure the player has a good time. Right?
Yeah.
And if they're going to do episodic episodes, they need to make sure that you don't get stuck. So I could totally see them shipping a game like this, where even if you can toggle it off, it's enabled by default. And I don't know, it just feels like too much hand-holding to me. Like, I mean, even just the fact that Mario Kart 8 has the assistance on by default. You basically can't crash a cart out of the box. And the process of turning it off is... I couldn't believe how obtuse it was to turn off the assist. You can't do it from the menu of the game. You have to be in a race and turn it off when the pause button. Why?
To Reaper and 4Play Chat said something that sparked a thought in my mind. They said Ubisoft would make it harder to sell boosts and skips. What about... Yeah, you just have the same thought I did. What if this started being used nefariously, where they started crushing you with difficulty to try to incentivize, like...
What do you mean, what if? I literally talked about that like 25 minutes ago.
Yeah, but it's dynamic. Yeah, it's dynamic. So they have ideas, they have some, I don't know, Cambridge Analytica data or whatever on like who you are, how much money you're going to spend on games and stuff, and they push you just enough. If they're like, yeah, this person will probably spend like $15 on microtransactions to get it to the end of this game, then they'll poke you for $15 and then let you win.
Sticklier says you can change the auto drive settings from the cart selection screen. Why isn't it on the main menu? I'm sorry. I had to look it up.
By default?
I had to look. Well, no, that's not even my issue. Oh, that is an issue. But I had to look it up. I couldn't find it on the main menu of the game, which is where settings go. Sorry, not sorry. It's still done.
Yeah, games will also lower difficulty without you knowing if you're having issues playing on hard parts. Yeah, but usually it's still granular. Like if you looked into the settings, you could see it there.
Whiskey Nerd 88 says Capcom uses this in Resident Evil. After you die too many times in a spot, they lower the enemies and the hit damage.
It very often communicates that to you, and if it doesn't, it's usually a setting that you can still go manually change or something. But yeah, this has been a thing for forever.
That is not the point. People are telling me some people want to use it and some people don't. I know. Okay, I know. None of that matters. The fact is that it's not obvious to find. The settings menu is on the title screen of a game. That's where the settings menu is.
Feels like a setting, not a like feature on the cart.
Yes.
It's not a wheel. I understand it's training wheels, but it's not the way that people would think about it.
Okay. Linus likes hot dogs, so he hates burgers. Oh man.
Speaking of hot dogs and burgers, should we talk about the next subject?
Yeah, sure. What is it?
I don't know. Somebody made the build corner in Lego?
Oh, I haven't actually seen this yet.
Me neither.
Are you opening it?
Yeah.
Oh, that's super cute. Oh, no way.
That's
wow,
actually
that's
pretty cool.
that is freaking awesome.
In awe of the Microsoft Easy Ball.
Yeah, it was this this like for kids mouse controller thing that we did a video about a little while ago. That is so cool. It always blows me away how detailed people can make even a small Lego model when, you know, the pieces are so large, right? Like
this is super recognizably
yeah.
the workshop.
If you showed this to someone, they'd just be like, "Oh yeah, that's."
I would
that's
have
the PC
immediately
corner.
been like, "Wait, what? Is that the workshop corner? What?"
Oh my god, people are still telling me it's a feature of the cart. Yes, I know.
I know a lot of people, myself included, that have been surprised that they had trading wheels on. It's totally a thing.
And you should be able to just turn it off at the menu level if you are just all playing the game and no one should be using assists.
Yeah.
Like it's, guys, please.
Yeah.
Wow.
Speaking of guys, please. Google gives everybody $2, sort of. Google has agreed
no,
to it.
guys, please, we gotta tell you about our sponsors.
Oh, okay.
Sponsors are Thorum. They're sprinkling some holiday magic. Whiskey barrels, antlers, Damascus steel, World War II rifle stocks, and even meteorites. Thorum turns them into wedding bands and rings. You can measure your ring size using their paper ring sizer, which is free to download from their site. And each ring comes with a free silicone band and a beautiful wooden ring box, making it easy to give as a gift and ready to go in no time. Did you say you need more time? Thorum has got you covered with their new handcrafted watches. They're made with unique materials as well, like 4 billion-year-old meteorites and Hawaiian koa wood. And they are automatic watches, so no batteries are required ever. With over 10 years of experience and 7,587 happy customers and counting, well, that's hilarious. I called them out on one of our last ones, where they were just like, over X number of customers. So now they've apparently given me an exact number. Brilliant. Thorum sure has a nice ring to it. Every ring is handcrafted and ships within 1 business day without any shipping costs. And for our WAN show viewers, you can get 20% off with the code WAN. We've got a link in the video description. The show is also brought to you by Maximum Settings. Are you trying to game on your 10-year-old laptop? You've got 2 options. Give it to your siblings as a Christmas gift and spend thousands of dollars on a new one.
Hey.
Or you can use our sponsor, Maximum Settings, to run the newest games on it. Maximum Settings offers high-powered cloud gaming PCs built on Linux Mint for you to rent and game to your heart's content. They recently transitioned from a virtual machine-based cloud gaming service to a purely bare metal solution, which means a smoother, higher-performance gaming experience. The best part? Maximum Settings doesn't distribute computer resources to multiple people at once, so you can live out your Grinch fantasy by having a PC dedicated to just you. They even have computers running 7900 XT graphics cards for that sweet, sweet 4K gaming. The process is simple. Just pick the PC you want, and within 2 to 5 minutes, your cloud gaming PC will be ready. So hop on the cloud gaming trend today and check out Maximum Settings at the link down below. Finally, the show is brought to you by Green Man Gaming. Do you worry Santa might forget about you this holiday because you've been particularly naughty? Why am I the one on screen? Well, don't fret. Our sponsor, Green Man Gaming, is not going to leave you behind. No, put on, no, okay, come on. What? No, I'm not naughty. I'm not naughty. Look, I'm not in any knots at all. Oh, sorry. Our sponsor, Green Man Gaming, is not going to leave you behind. Many titles from 2023 are on sale at record low prices, or you can go back to some great older titles from Bethesda, Capcom, 2K, and more. Right now, you can save 48% on Elden Ring. Red Dead 2 is 74% off.
Whoa!
Or maybe you want to save 20% on the award-winning Alan Wake 2. But we're not done letting GMG cook. If fun with friends is more your cup of tea, then Overcooked is up to 83% off for the series.
Great game.
As an official PC game retailer, Green Man Gaming works directly with over 1,300 developers and publishers, ensuring that all the keys they offer are 100% legit and you will be supporting the creators. Life is good on Green Man Gaming's nice list. The sale ends January 5th, so go and wrap some savings at the link down below. What is with those first pictures of me? That is super weird.
Genuinely some crazy stuff.
Alright, it's time for some merch messages, damn it. I feel like half the merch messages today are just gonna be people attacking us for our takes.
Repeatedly yelling at Linus, saying that he's naughty, and then Linus taking
I've got the cuffs on the shelf. I mean, you've been naughty, Linus.
Let me get my stockings.
Oh no!
I got some extra sandals for you. Hey, DLL. Any updates on the LTD cable management clip availability? My stand-up desk is jonesing from some magnetically held cable runs to tame the mess.
I don't have any to sell you, but we did set up Electro Boom with a bunch of them. Next year. If you got like a $25 backpack credit, for example, you will be able to buy magnetic cable management stuff with it if you wanted.
Cool. I had someone ask literally that question in Open Chat. I don't know if you saw that.
Oh, I did.
But earlier in the show, someone was like, will I be able to use this on that?
No, the timing was not random. It was a combination of that we can't have things on our books forever, and we wanted to make sure that there was some very compelling stuff to check out with it if people didn't see anything that they were interested in today.
Sweet.
Hi DLL, I'm attending CES for the first time as a PM with significant purchasing power. I'm in my mid-20s, introverted and don't drink, but have been invited to several after parties with vendors. Do you have any tips?
Go.
Yep.
Talk to people. Try to find the quietest corner and talk to the people who don't make it all business all the time, but like a lot of people are there to get deals done. That's like kind of why they're there, and you just gotta kind of vibe it out. Like, is this person in working mode, or is this person in I'm so drunk that I can't tell that the waitress is not actually into me mode? Right? Like it's and some people are in one mode, and some people are in the other mode, and some people are somewhere in between the modes. But you can get a lot of work done, just having conversations, making connections, it never came naturally to me either. A huge part of, why we have a leadership team that handles all outbound communications to anyone but you guys is that it's not really a people person. What?
Some of my calls with companies, I probably know at some point. I told you about the most recent one, right? Where I thought it was to re-sign a contract and it wasn't, and I was just like, why are we even here?
It's like, I just wanted to talk to you. Why?
Yeah.
I'm not that great.
we really don't need to know each other, but okay. Anyways,
Old Car in Twitch says, do people still fall for the flirty waitress routine? I've never seen it happen personally. Do you leave your house?
Dude.
That's the whole routine. That's like most of modern civilization, as far as I can tell, is
I have a friend group that has a large amount of female waitresses, at least when
they have a large amount of female waitresses.
That friend group does.
So they run They run a restaurant?
At one point in time, they were the entire staff of one restaurant. Yes.
I was pretending to misunderstand you.
Anyways,
Good Lord.
I don't know if any of them still work in that industry or not, but they made bank back then, like tons of money, and it was off of that strategy alone. So like, yeah, it works. It definitely works. They made more money than like everyone I knew. Like, it was a big deal. And the main, like, huge demographic of people that they would make money from was when there was, like, a group of dudes going out to eat and one of them wanted to, like, show off to their friends and, like, appear cool to the, like, waitress person. That was, like, totally it. So, like, sports nights, trying to, like, be flirty, but with the whole group so that they're, like, fighting against each other and stuff. Totally.
That's what tipping is to you.
Whatever.
There you go. Lou's hot takes. Tipping is microtransactions. Actually, I think microtransactions are the ones that happen continuously, and I don't think that's typical at a restaurant. I mean, I don't know what kind of restaurants you go to, but
you could load up the game more than one time. You could go back to the restaurant multiple times. It is what it is. At a bar, your tab stays open.
That's true.
Got him.
That's true.
Got him.
Casper asks, hey, I noticed you take your audio seriously with, home theater, headphones, but I see a distinct lack of Linus using monitor speakers for ear freedom at his house gaming setup or at work. What speakers are best for people who can't wear headphones for long because their ears get hot and sweaty? Well, I don't find that my ears get hot and sweaty with the HD 600s, so it's not a problem for me. I used to be a speakers at my desk guy. I had the Eclipse Media Ultra 5.1s. Before that, I had a pretty cool pair of our set of Monsoons. I also tried out the Creative Gigaworks back in the day, not because that was so unimaginative that I could only know of, computer brands for speakers, but because that was a lot easier to hook up back then.
Yeah.
Later on, I picked up a KEF set with an Onkyo receiver that I ran as my surround setup at my gaming setup at Yvonne's parents' place. Like, I was always a speakers guy, and then I had a kid. And my kid was not a good sleeper, and I am 100% converted to headphones, and speakers don't exist for me. I shouldn't say they don't exist. I still have a pair of Corsair SP2500s just sitting on my desk. Occasionally, Yvonne and I will do a conference call from my desk at the office, or in the office at home, in our office room at home. And so I'll put on the speakers because it's hard to share headphones and stuff, but they don't. But that's it. And the SP2500s are fine. They're okay. I wouldn't recommend them because I don't know how they compare to something more modern, but they were like decent back then. And I actually have the same ones on my desk at work because they were just speakers that nobody was going to need for anything. And so I grabbed them, and they are better than the built-in ones in my monitor.
Yeah, I'm still running my Corsair speakers because I also am headphones 99% of the time. And when it needs to be speakers, they're definitely more than good enough. So it is what it is.
Last one I got for you here. Keep the content going. Happy holidays. Any updates on the old...
Oh, I thought it was going to end there. I was like, oh, thanks. That was easy.
There's not a question. Any updates on the old PC equipment signature lottery?
I think we're waiting to release the last video in the series, which has taken far longer than we'd like because it was Techtober and etc. There's always reasons things take longer than we'd like. We try, but it's one of those things where if we don't push hard enough, you guys are mad that it takes too long, and if we push too hard, you're mad because like we're crunch or something. So whatever, we're just gonna get it done when it's done. But we have another video coming in the series, and then I think we were planning to do it after, but then I don't know, maybe we'll just get lazy and kill it. We'll see. If people are into it, then yeah, I guess we're down. Maybe that's it. Maybe we should just be gauging like community interest. So for those of you who are wondering, what they're talking about is all these things from the tech shop. We had talked about like having me painstakingly sign all of them, destroying my wrist, and then putting them up for sale on lttstore.com for a fixed price. So for $5, you might get a GPU. It is like a loot box. You might get a GPU that like works, or you might get a GPU that doesn't work, or you might get a broken motherboard, or you might get like a serial cable. Like it could be anything, but it'll be like signed. It's like a piece of memorabilia or something like that. We thought it was kind of cool, but maybe it's just that. I'm not sure. Oh, you want more topics now, Dan? Because we can do topics.
You better.
I don't know. Are these mostly boring?
Yeah.
Oh, Steam lets users hide embarrassing games. Finally. Sort of. I mean, that was the only reason that I didn't buy them. The new Steam client beta is adding several quality of life changes, including finally allowing users to mark games in their library, or even prior to purchase, as private and hide them from other people. This will hide players' ownership, in-game status, playtime, and activity in that game. So you no longer have to worry about the social awkwardness of having, 400 hours in Motorboat Simulator or whatever the case may be.
Waifu games sales go through the roof.
Yeah. The new client will also allow items in the shopping cart to sync across devices.
Nice.
The Last of Us multiplayer game was canceled. I don't think about that. Do you want to do the Google gives everyone $2 bit?
Yeah.
I'm going to the washroom.
Okay. Google has agreed to a settlement of $700 million to end a lawsuit filed by all 50 state attorney generals over this one, that one, that one. Got it. All the state attorney general this is written very oddly. The state attorneys general have framed this as a major victory for consumers. However, Google has admitted to no wrongdoing, and the settlement only guarantees a minimum payout of $2 per user, with larger payouts going to users who've spent more on the app. I think that wouldn't include microtransactions within games. I think that would just be actually money that you spend on the Play Store itself, just to be clear. Google has also agreed to simplify side loading for at least the next 5 years and allowed third-party app installations on new phones for at least 7 years, leading to concerns about OEM bloatware. That's weird that there's like a time limit on it, but oh well. In addition, Google's user choice billing system, which was in the pilot phase, will be expanding to allow developers to offer alternative payment methods. However, Google will still be able to charge them a service fee of 26%, as opposed to the Play Store's 30% cut. 4% off. Hooray! Epic CEO Tim Sweeney expressed dissatisfaction with the ruling and said that he and Epic would continue to pursue their own antitrust case against Google. Attorneys General is technically a plural word. It's confusing title. Wow, that's odd. My dyslexia hated that. That $2 is like a cheeseburger from McDonald's. Yeah. It did say $2 minimum. I really wonder what it's going to be for people that have spent a decent amount on the store. Like, okay, if it's $2 per user, if someone has spent $10, do they get, what would that be? $2.60? Is that how that works? Is it 4% instead of 30? Maybe that's it. I don't know. I don't know what the scale is going to be like after the $2, but the main reason why I wanted to talk about it on the show is often case with these things, you have to like claim it. It doesn't just come to you automatically, and you might as well get your $2. I'm trying to tell everyone so they can take $2 from Google or more. Go get your money. I don't know when it's going to be available, but go get it. I find a lot of times these lawsuits, they don't end up hitting the company that hard because people don't claim it. So yeah, go claim it. Hit them hard. Do another topic, Dan?
I don't know if that was one topic or was it like 3 topics? Because you skipped most of them. Do we have any left?
I thought you mean that I just did, but you mean in this grouping.
Yeah,
I think we did 2.
Okay. Do you have any more that you want to talk about? If not, I'll just turn the lights off.
I could try to do one more. Let's see here. I'll do 2 kind of rapid fire. VR declines while Meta spends billions. Sales of VR and AR devices declined by 40% this year, According to industry research firm Circana, the entire market for AR and VR devices was only estimated to be at $1.1 billion last year and is now down to $664 million. Meta has continued to lose over $3 billion on its VR division every quarter of 2023, and the Meta Quest 3 is suspected to, by some analysts, to be selling at a per-unit loss based on its likely material and labor costs. Womp womp. No one cares about VR and AR anymore. It's all about that AI, baby. Let's go. Everybody's moved on.
But I'm still taking home this like VR haptic vest for the holidays to play with it. I'm kind of into it.
It's just really expensive, I think, and everybody's broke. It's a very, very expensive thing to be part of. I'll do another one really quick just because I find this interesting. I'm very interested to hopefully see a follow-up to this to see how well it did. But consulting firm using AI to reduce layoffs. This year, London-based consulting firm Deloitte hired 130,000 new employees, but also found that reduced demand for certain services meant that they might need to eliminate thousands of existing positions. Instead, Deloitte wants to experiment with AI to assess the skills of those at-risk employees and create a strategy to move them into greater demanded roles. Interesting.
I can't even imagine operating at the kind of scale where you're making a decision about sort of rehoming someone or no longer working together. Yeah, based on anything other than that individual person.
Yeah.
You know, like to have so many people working at a company that you take the bucket of people who are in this department doing this thing who might be useful doing other things and split them into smaller buckets for reassignment is unfathomable to me. I don't want to do that. You heard it here first. Linus Media Group and its associated companies will never be that big because I didn't want to, not because I wasn't good enough at it.
There are,
but also because of
pains and sores and frustrations with getting deals.
Oh yeah, definitely. That sounds awful, honestly.
Yeah.
There was one other thing that I wanted to do. Yeah, Apple may be investigated over Beeper. A bipartisan group of lawmakers has requested that the U.S. Department of Justice investigate Apple for potentially anti-competitive conduct. Huh. After Apple repeatedly broke Beeper's Android-based iMessage service by closing the loopholes it relied on. DOJ lawyers reportedly met with representatives of Beeper last week, and the FTC has publicly stated it will be taking a closer look at claims by large industry gatekeepers that competition threatens security and privacy. Because it turns out that was f***ing horse the whole time.
I think there can be some legitimacy there.
There can, but this ain't it.
Maybe. Yeah, I don't know enough about iMessage, but there can be legitimacy.
It is definitely possible to encrypt a thing.
Yes.
It is definitely possible for encrypted thing to pass through other thing.
Can you determine how something must be encrypted and decrypted, though?
As long as
Can a government decide how you do your security?
I think that the government can decide it could have been done. Because it could have been done. There's plenty of precedent for that. By Apple's logic, you know,
but then the
Mac shouldn't support email because it might have to pass through someone else's server. Like, honestly, though.
Yeah, I just... Security's an interesting one.
Sure.
I don't know enough about iMessage to talk about it too much.
As far as anyone can tell, Beeper legitimately had just found a workaround so that it never left Apple's care. Beeper has officially announced that it will no longer attempt to crack iMessage on the basis that each time that the service falters, it impacts their credibility. Instead, they will use a method that they hope Apple can tolerate existing, using a combination of a jailbroken iPhone and a Mac or Linux computer to register an Android's phone number for iMessage through the Beeper Mini app. Beeper has also made the code for their original bypass method open source, which is super cool and could undermine any of Apple's arguments that this was in fact due to security and not
That's
use
like
again.
definitely why they would do that. Yeah. Interesting.
I think it's time for Rancho After Dark. I'll help.
You just wanted to do it.
8%.
Oh, he just turned it off.
Oh my gosh.
I kind of like that, to be honest.
Okay, turn it off. You want to turn it off?
What's 8%? Really? Could this be bad for epilepsy?
12 cycles per second.
Is that a thing?
I believe that's one of the triggers. Is that 8%? Doesn't look like 8%.
That looks like 8% to me. That's 8%.
Okay, good.
It's definitely 8%.
I hope it was 8%. I don't remember now.
It's just negative.
It just felt right.
All right. What are we up to?
Alright, gonna do some rich messages, I guess. Hey, Linus. Sorry about the wing. Not my fault.
Why are you sorry? It sounds like it might have been your fault.
This mission appeared. Are you planning to do a follow-up daily usage video on the Fairphone 5? What are your impressions so far? Been eyeing that as a potential upgrade.
Yes. I've been daily driving it for... there's a bit of a gray zone in between about when the LG Wing video came out and sort of the week after that, where I still had some stuff I hadn't transitioned over to the Fairphone. But my intention is not just to daily drive the Fairphone for a review, but also to make the Fairphone my new Note 9, if that makes sense. Like my fallback, if whatever it is that I'm using right now doesn't have something on it, this is like the one that will definitely have like all my 2FAs or, you know, whatever else. Like this is like the one that I can use if I'm in between other phones that I'm reviewing or something. So that's my goal. However, I'm having some issues. Some things are little, like when I'm watching a TV in the dark, I don't know what it is. The ambient light sensor kind of struggles sometimes, so it'll go bright in the dark, bright in the dark, and bright in the dark. And this one's really annoying. So right now I have my ringer off, and the reason for that is that if you guys would like to do a little experiment with me, watch this. Luke?
Yeah.
I am going to turn my ringer down to the minimum volume while still being above 0. Okay? So I'm now at the minimum. Okay, so that's off. That's the minimum volume above the lowest setting, right? Okay. Go ahead and text me. Or like Teams, it doesn't matter. Just notify my phone of something. Yeah. Okay. You can send anything, it doesn't have to be you. That is really, really
That's
f***ing
very
loud.
That's quite loud.
And it's those kinds of little quality of life things that are making it kind of hard to like it. There's a lot to like about the philosophy, but it's been a while since I've reviewed a phone, and I just kind of assumed they all just kind of worked at this point. The Fairphone proved me wrong. No, people want the loudest setting. I mean, sure. All right, hit me again, Luke.
Okay, give me 1 second.
I'm busy texting other people.
No, I'm actually busy texting you.
Oh.
But give me a second. It's okay. I just need to send it. No, it's fine. I'm gonna send it to you. You're gonna see it in a moment.
No, okay, just...
I think it's not bad.
Okay, anyway. You're making like 10,000 people wait for you to send this text message.
Well, I wasn't going to, but then... So wait, that's max volume?
I think so.
So there's just no difference.
Yeah, not max.
Is that actually the notification volume that you're adjusting?
Oh, crap.
You goof!
No. Hold on. No,
Wow.
the ringing notification
Wow.
one is down at the bottom.
Yeah, but it wasn't at the top.
Yeah. No, do
doing
one
it- we're
more
doing
time.
it again?
One more time. Okay, yeah, here's Max. Oh, yeah, that's another thing that's been kind of annoying. So it gets louder, which is, I guess, a feature.
Not enough louder for it to go up the entire bar, you know?
Yeah, so it's...
that minimum volume is still very high. Do you want to compare it to mine?
Sure.
Because I don't think I've ever
Hold on.
tried this.
I just realized though, there's 0. So there's 0 without it being silent. Try one more time. Maybe there's maybe 0% is audible, which was not intuitive to me, but hey. No, that's fine. Yep, so that was minimum volume on this phone, which is a problem for me because if I don't have my ringer on, I don't notice things because I am distracted doing things. And if I have my ringer on but too loud, it can't be on when I'm shooting. And if it's not on when I'm shooting, I won't remember to turn it back on when I'm done shooting. So I basically just don't find out about people messaging me until later when I look at my phone anymore, which is not working. Why do you messages say penis? Grow up. Okay, let's see how loud your minimum is. I should hold it in front of my mic though because
mine only has 7 volume levels.
Yeah, I think mine.
Oh.
Like on Samsung, I know that for media volume anyway, there's a third-party app that I installed that gives you
the
like
same way you're holding it?
no, not yet. That gives you way more granular control. I don't know if there's an equivalent for this. I haven't tried to solve this yet, to be very clear, but there's just been some annoyances. Yeah,
Pretty quiet.
that's super reasonable.
Yeah.
That's the kind of thing that I could leave on to make sure that I notice things.
Yep.
But if it goes off in the middle of a take, then I can still continue to do it.
We honestly don't even need to play full volume. It's like reasonably loud. What you'd expect.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sucks. Anyways.
Hey DLL, first time